Hello and welcome to the morning show team of RevSportz. A very good morning to all of you present. And yesterday, what a day it was! Four finals and all Mumbai Indians, Satvik Chirag in badminton, Lovelina and Nikhat in boxing, all India. So what a massive day, and we will discuss it throughout. And to discuss, we have Devashish Sen, Atreyo Mukhopadhyay, and of course Boria Majumdar. Can we please have them? Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. What a day it was yesterday. And started with Satvik Chirag, then Nikhat, Lovelina, and then WPL. So we'll come in the back order from start with WPL and go to badminton. And we have lots of fan visuals from the stadium. It was massive celebration on the roads of Mumbai. And so can we please have the visuals as we speak through the Buryada, coming to you first. Fantastic atmosphere. I'll come to the match, but talk to me about the atmosphere. We can see fans of all the age, starting from young, senior people, men, mostly men. How was the ambience, and how excited are you for the game going forward?
See, that is the most important point, what you just said, mostly men. And the men at midnight in Mumbai on the streets for a women's game is a step forward in the right direction. Crowd sellout, obviously we are all aware of that. Mumbai Indians winning made a difference, clearly because it was the home support and the home fans who were jubilant. They kept on celebrating, we kept on playing these visuals. Look at them, I mean, and people from all ages, people from all across the country. Look at this man, and then you know that this is a brand that's there to survive. All I will say is Mumbai has had its share this year. Let us take it to other parts of the country in 24. Let other cities enjoy the action as well. Let the brand grow. But it was a massive moment for the sport. Mumbai Indians may have won a title. Indian cricket took a giant leap. Women's cricket took a giant leap. Corporates will now believe in the property far more. You and I will see that there are thousands across the country who will start taking to the sport. That for me is the bigger point, the larger contour. The celebration continues, and most importantly, as I said, India wins every night in this format. It was terrific.
Absolutely. Achyuta, see these visuals. So much power in these visuals. These young men, senior men. We saw female supporters also, but look at these people all enjoying throughout the night. What does it say about the game, Achyuta?
See, it's about there was a question whether whether women's cricket can be sold or not. I mean, this question was going on for a while before the tournament started. Now we can see that there is acceptability. I mean, people across society from different parts of the society have responded to the women's game, and they are supporting, coming out to going to the ground to watch matches. There is a lot of viewership on TV and internet, and there is no doubt now that this game, this version of the game, is also can be a property, can be a commercial entity, and more than that, something that the people like to watch. Had people not watched, this wouldn't have happened. Now people have lapped it up. I mean, the popularity of the tournament has been quite good, and as you can see from the visuals, that there are so many people turned up in so large numbers, and that is the biggest gain, I would say.
Absolutely. Devashish, I heard few fans chanting, "Harman ne kar diya, ab Rohit ki bari hai." What does that tell you about the fans?
Yeah, obviously, Harmanpreet did say in the press conference that she now feels what it means like to be a champion, a part of a champion side, and she's now an IPL, WPL champion, so that for a sportsman, see, he will be remembered with the successes, and for Harman, obviously, a lot has been spoken about, means not going down to the finals, and this time round she made a statement by winning the WPL, inaugural WPL.
and defeated Meg Lanning. We were talking about in the pre-match show also.
Interestingly, both Meg Lanning and Harmanpreet has not won a WBBL or a 100 or any franchise league. So in that, it is a first for Harman.
So in this format, Harman leads Meg Lanning. Buryada, coming to you, uh, throughout the season, we have seen lots of talents, lots of new players coming in. So for you, who was the best uncapped player in this tournament? Who was the best discovery, you would say?
See, some people stood up. I mean, whether it's a Saika Ishak, at least for the first half of the tournament, whether it's a Shriyanka Patil, despite the fact that RCB wasn't really delivering, Kiran Navgire in patches, but she's not uncapped. I mean, some Indian stars stood up. If you ask me one blip, I thought the Indians did not do justice to their potential. Nobody did. Whether it is a Smriti Mandhana, whether it is a Harmanpreet Kaur, whether it is a Deepti Sharma, if you really look in the WPL, the list of performances, you will see an Issy Wong, you will see a Nat Siva Brunt, you will see them standing up. You will see a Meg Lanning, a Talia Magra, a Grace Harris, all of these players standing up, and then Amelia Kerr when it mattered. So again, England and Australia. So while the tournament was brilliant, that is something we want to see in 24. Indian girls coming to the party, Indian girls winning it. Like yesterday, I was mighty impressed with Shikha Pandey and Radha Yadav. To be able to score 54 in the last 4 overs and making a match of that, making it 131, getting there, making a contest, I thought said something. That's what I want to see. But my two uncapped Indians, Shriyanka Patil and Saika Ishak.
Absolutely. And you just took my next question to ask you. Indians, the big Indian names that we see regularly in the national team. So we haven't talked much about them throughout the season. But these foreign names, we have talked about a lot. So your thoughts on that? The Indian players in this tournament?
Yes, as Boria said, that there were not too many big performances from the Indian players, from the established Indian players, those who play regularly for the national team, and for all the teams actually, the key performers were the foreigners, which possibly is not the case in IPL. I mean, in IPL, you see the Indian players contribute. In this tournament, Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, they all came up from the IPL. There are many more names, but in contrast, the first season of WPL has not seen a lot of notable Indian contributions, and it showed that there's a gap between Indian players and the overseas players, and they were the most telling performers. I mean, in almost all the matches, and yes, that is something that is a bit of a, I wouldn't say it's a concern because it's the first season. I mean, it's still at a happening stage. So this will evolve. This will, I'm sure, players will emerge. But yes, as far as the first season goes, there were not too many significant Indian performances, and they were they existed or they played in the shadow of the foreigners in their teams. So that is has been a feature of the inaugural version of the WPL. Yes.
Rohan, just quick point. I mean, when we went to the World Cup, we thought India was one of the favorites. Clearly, this WPL is an eye-opener. We are still not there. And it's evident. Take a look at your performers. Who played your World Cup? Shafali Verma, inconsistent. Smriti Mandhana did not have the best tournament. Jemima Rodriguez, social media and everything else, brilliant. On field, lots to be still done. Harmanpreet Kaur, I thought, was perhaps the best in terms of at least a major contribution in the final and some of the other matches. If you go down that list, Deepti Sharma not doing justice to her talent. Pooja Vastrakar, bits and pieces. Shikha Pandey, still one can say that, okay, had a bit of a contribution for Delhi, both with the ball and on the field. Radha Yadav, inconsistent. Rajeshwari Gaikwad, the same. If you take a look at every Indian player who played that World Cup, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, what's happening here? And take a look at the English. Take a look at Alice Capsey, won matches. Nat Siva won the tournament. Take a look at that list. And Australians, great, Grace Harris, Talia Magra, Meg Lanning. And that's where my concern is. In maybe 2 to 3 years, this can get sorted. That's where WPL will have an impact. But at least in the first year, it's a clear eye-opener that Indian women's cricket is still not there in comparison to Australia and England.
Yeah, and we saw and comment. We'll come to that, but before that, Devashish, as we talk about, okay, so let's take the comment first. Raunak Chatterjee, does this WPL win guarantee that India will never lose again against Australia? Australia women are coming back in December for a 7-match multi-format series. Who will take that question? Muriela?
How does anything give any guarantee? This is a franchise tournament. And if you see, in fact, the only guarantee that it gives is Australia is 20 times better. The Australian players were the standout performers in this WPL also. Yes, maybe 2 to 3 years down the line will be a much better side.
As we talk about the foreign players, Devashish, coming to you, who was the foreign player that you enjoyed the most throughout the season? We saw some.
It has to be Nats. 2 important knocks, and that too in eliminator and final. That's full stop for me. Nats Riverbrand.
Okay. What about EC1?
See, okay, it's had Max not played that innings.
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
That 72 runs he scored in that eliminator, that paved the way for Mumbai reaching that final.
Muriela, your most exciting foreign player in this throughout the season?
He had impact. I mean, look at even yesterday when Harmanpreet got run out, and I was like, oh Lord, Harmanpreet and run outs. Even then, Nat Silverbrand controlled that with that boundary of Jess Jonason. That's when the pressure was released. Then Amelia Carr obviously played that shot over mid-wicket, then that through covers, 2 boundaries and fine. But it was Nat Silverbrand, that sweep, and then she got that acute angle of the reverse sweep. So clearly, Devashish is absolutely 100% right. I mean, that is what the champion stage is all about. Think of the 50 over World Cup. It was Nat Silverbrand 140 not out, 148 if I remember right, not out for England. She is pedigree, and that is what was evident here. That's what you want from India. One performer like that who is consistent, not one game, time after time, day in, day out, after matches. Nat Silverbrand was phenomenal.
Absolutely. Any other name in the foreign list, October, that you saw most exciting?
I would say Hayley Matthews was also quite impressive, and with bat and ball. And there were quite a few actually. In fact, if you take out the top 10 performances, individual performances from this season of WPL, possibly 7 or 8 of them will be from foreigners. So, I mean, that's a point we touched upon a little bit earlier. And yes, as Boria was saying, and as Devashish was also saying, that this tournament has shown that how much of a difference there is between Indian players and Australians and English players. It's not for nothing that India went to the T20 World Cup, and when it came to matches that mattered, they lost fairly convincingly to England and Australia. Although they did reach the semi-finals, when it mattered, to taking on the big teams, we all saw that there is a difference in you call it pedigree, you call it experience, you call it infrastructure support and all that. In terms of everything, taking everything into account, there exists a big gap between Indians and especially Australians and English players. So going back to top performances, yes, one has to give it to Nat Silverbrand, because when somebody performs, comes up with the telling performances in the matches that matter most, we have to give it to her. And like I said, I mean, Hayley Matthews was another, I thought, who was quite impressive, although her didn't, anyway. And as you see, as we also saw that most of the notable performers were foreigners. So I wouldn't really like to pick 1 or 2 or 3. I would like to see this, that, okay, there is how they have performed and how our players have performed. So I see there's a clear gap between the two.
Yeah. So we'll discuss WPL all throughout going forward also. But yesterday we had 3 more finals to talk about. Nikhat Zarin, Lavlina Borgohain, and Satvik Chirag, and all ended up winning the gold medals. Buryada, I would come to you, but Atro was there in the ground. So let's start with Atro. give us that sense. The last day also you were there. Give us a sense when Nikhat Zareen won that bout or Lovlina. How was the atmosphere there?
See, yesterday the stadium was completely packed. It was not
Okay.
a full house on Saturday. For Saturday, it was not a full house. There were a lot of people, but yesterday there was no place remaining. Every day, every seat was occupied. Almost every seat was occupied, and it was quite a festive atmosphere. More than festive, I mean, there was a lot of fervor. There was a lot of people were really involved, and they were very passionate, and it was really wonderful to see that so many people coming up to watch boxing and cheer Indian boxers. And this is something that I think the Boxing Federation will really look into. They would like to have organize more tournaments in India. May not be the World Championship, I mean, because that doesn't happen every year. I mean, one country doesn't get to host the World Championship every year, but maybe
Yeah.
other tournaments. And in fact, BFI President Ajay Singh was mentioning this yesterday that we want to host as many tournaments as we can. The World Boxing Federation has been impressed by India's organization capability and also the turnout. So it was a big positive for Indian boxing in general. And coming back to the atmosphere, yes, I mean it was. I mean the crowd gave the players everything that they could. Now it was up to the players to deliver. I mean, okay, in a final match, you can
In the
in the final
delivery.
match
Yeah.
you can win or lose, but the crowd gave them everything. I mean, they were. I mean, there was. It was very noisy, and celebrations were really loud, and it felt like being in a place where something is happening. I mean, there was not a second to get bored. I mean, it was very obvious when you be there. I mean, while being there, you got a feeling that okay, something is going on over here.
Okay. Well, you could see that Actoda really enjoyed his time. And coming to that, a full packed up boxing stadium. How good has the federation conducted this tournament? Your thoughts on this tournament as a whole? I'll come to the players later, but let's talk on this point. Buryada?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Atre was enjoying was evident in his post-match reviews. He had a smile on his face all through. Had he not, we would have understood in one second he would have been grim. So that was a giveaway. And by the way, that itself, I mean, how many times has Atre covered women's boxing in his? He's been a top journalist in India for the last 2 decades. How many times has he sort of covered women's boxing and enjoyed himself like this? That is what it is. You had G. Rajaraman and Atro, between them, 50 plus years of collective experience in the media, reviewing women's boxing for us. That is a contribution to the sport. Trust me. Now to the federation. Yesterday, within seconds, photographs were being sent out by social media teams. Within seconds, videos were being sent out from the mix zone. Within seconds, interviews were being made available. Look at the prize money, roping in Mahindra, roping in Anand Mahindra, who is a fantastic patron, by the way. Every credit to Anand Mahindra for the way he has supported. Even yesterday, to rope in Kiran Rijiju to come and do the honors. Everybody knows Kiran Rijiju, despite being law minister, takes an active interest in sport along with obviously sports minister Anurag Thakur. Kiran Rijiju, former sports minister. So you had the political class. You had people from other sports. You had a Rani Rampal to come and give awards to people. Rani Rampal posted on social media pictures with Nikhat Zareen, pictures with Lovlina. What does that mean? That means that across sports you will be able to sort of synergize fandom. Fantastic work. I think Ajay Singh will host a press conference with all the four world champions today. That in itself is another statement. That sitting down with your world champions, making a telling comment, and hello, it was the WPL final night. So there was competition. A
Yeah.
cricketing brand with the BCCI behind it, that's competition, boss. WPL obviously was huge. Boxing did not lose out. Look at the coverage on social media. Nikhat Zareen, Lovlina Borgohain. Look at the newspapers today. You have, yes, you can say this is a domestic competition, WPL, but it's cricket. So to be able to stand up to the might of cricket with your power of women's boxing says a story.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coming on that note, Devashish, to you, we were watching the bouts together in the office. How excited were you to see these bouts, and how before how much you followed boxing, and now following this boxing, how excited are you
More,
seeing
more than
this?
more than my excitement, I was excited with Trisha, the way she was reacting.
Actually,
Ma,
when
I
the
thoroughly
country is
enjoyed.
going, he was also doing like this.
I thoroughly enjoyed her involvement in boxing. Maybe she's the champion boxer in RevSportz.
No, but on a serious note, and
Obviously, I have watched the boxing in Commonwealth Games. That was
yeah,
my first in instance of watching a live boxing tournament, and obviously incredible moments when you see. Actually, it is a symbol of success. Means Nikat Zarin had a bruise. Means he got
yeah,
hit, and the way that to me is the success of women's boxing. Means the likes of Nikat Zarin or a Lovelina Borgoin. Means these are great inspirational stories, and yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the event.
absolutely. And last time also we were talking. Boyd, I asked you how many gold medals do you see? You said at least two, but 4 on 4 for India. How big achievement will that be in going forward in boxing?
See, it'll set up the sport. Don't forget there was no England, there was no America. So let's not lose perspective because of the
Yeah,
problems with the world, the International Olympic Committee versus the International Boxing Association, which is why it wasn't an Olympic qualifier. So these
yeah,
countries were missing. Having said that, the field was tough. There were Olympic champions. There were other countries like China who are boxing powerhouses. There was Mongolia, Thailand, countries where Colombia, absolutely Colombia, countries from where pedigreed boxers have come in the past. It was India's best performance. I was reading Colonel Rajavardhan Rathore tweeting that India has matched its performance of 2006. With due humility, I don't think Colonel Rathore got it right. In 2006, it is a very different sport. It wasn't an Olympic sport. From the time women's boxing became an Olympic sport, the pedigree of the sport changes. Before that, it cannot be the same. It cannot. So to say we won 4 gold medals in 2006, we've equaled it, doesn't really do justice to what these girls did. This is India's best performance by a million miles. So let's put this aside. Okay, this is your best performance. What does this do? This sets up Paris. This sets up the Asian Games because now when you have a front page with Dikhat and Lovelina and X and Y, you're like, hello, come on, give us a Paris medal, get us an Asian Games gold. The expectations start growing. People like Devashish Sen, Atra Mukherjee, Boria Majumdar, Raja Raman, Rohan, all of them will follow. Every tournament that these girls go to, just like Satvik and Chirag, who have become
yeah,
household names, that is what will happen. That is the real story. When a Nikhat Zareen goes to an Olympic Games, it is not that Nikhat Zareen is not known or known for her dance with Salman Khan. Salman Khan is not relevant. It is Nikhat Zareen, the brand now, who is relevant. That is my takeaway. So this performance has set up the sport in a manner that I think will do justice with more corporates coming forward.
absolutely. Ending boxing with your thoughts, Astro, on this corporate support in the sport. So prize money of huge total prize money pool of 20 crores. Each gold medalist getting 82 lakhs. Massive. And another one, we were talking about Olympic sports, and in the 50 kg category, Nikhat and Neetu will be fighting off each other. Who do you say has an advantage going into Paris?
Coming to your later part of your question first, that
Yeah,
when Nikhat looks cut above at the moment. I mean, in sport you cannot tell. I mean, it's probably be
yeah,
a very thin line between Neetu and Nikhat. But since Nikhat has been there, done that, and came the way she is fighting, the way she, I mean, I cannot explain in details, but at the moment, if there is a bout between Nikhat and Neetu 2 days down the line, I'll probably say that Nikhat is the favorite. And other than that, yes, corporate support is essential for any sport, and it's. I mean, I cannot express fully how delighted I am to see that there is so much of corporate support for women's boxing in a country that we all know that India is all about. Indian sport is all about cricket. It's in the top 10. The top 10 is cricket. I mean, from 11, the other sports start. So, uh, to see this and to see the involvement of the fans, as I said earlier, And how will the 1 point? I mean, you need two things basically. I mean, two major things to draw the attention of the corporate people. That one is performance. Had India not won anything over here, it would have died down. One is that
Yeah.
uh, performance of our success of our athletes, and two is the involvement of the crowd. I mean, how much of interest it is creating among the public. So I think on both counts, this World Championship was a success, and I'm sure there'll be more names. I mean, we are talking about four finalists who and the four champions, eventual champions, but there were others also, and those who are, I mean, couldn't make it to the middle rounds, but they are also equally good. I mean, and as Ajay Singh was saying yesterday, that our somebody who lost in the quarterfinals is also a potential world champion. Somebody who lost in the pre-quarter is also a potential world champion. So that is what has happened. I mean, the pool has become bigger, and
Yeah.
that is what will sustain this sport, and also draw the attention of the corporate companies, and more and more sponsorship will come, and they will be backing for these sports and Olympic sports. Uh, I mean, irrespective of women's boxing or men's boxing, boxing in general will be benefited from this. I mean, I think men's boxing will also benefit from the success of this tournament. So,
100%.
uh, so there will be
Absolutely.
more eyeballs, more media attention, and more coverage, like it has happened in case of badminton, as Boria was saying. Satvik Chirag are household names, and so is Nikhat these days. I mean, so is Nikhat, so is
Yeah.
one Lavlina. I mean,
Yes.
look at their backgrounds, where they come from, and what they have achieved. I mean, these are fantastic stories. I mean,
Absolutely.
who believes somebody, a girl from a village in Assam, will win three world championship medals, including a gold, after having won an Olympic medal. So these are superb stories, and this
Absolutely.
is what
Great story.
will probably enrich Indian boxing in every possible manner.
Absolutely. Debashish, I'll come to you with badminton, but before that, Boyada, I have one more question left on boxing. Bhaskar Bhatt, how good head coach he has been, and how proud he will be after all these
You
performances.
know, I speak to Bhaskar Saab every day, and have been doing so over the last month or so. And he has been with the Indian team for a long, long time, has contributions. So while we laud the Irish high performance director on the left, there is a tendency in India not to give Indian coaches their due. This is a point. I mean, you give foreigners more credit. I don't think that's justified. I think people like Bhaskar Bhatt, people like Pulela Gopichand, people like, I mean, yesterday Devashish Sen spoke to Ravi Ashwin, and what did Ravi Ashwin tell him? I want to be the Pulela Gopichand of cricket. So Indian coaches need to be given their due. I think Bhaskar Bhatt is right up there with any foreign coach. So no debate. And just to add to what Atreya was saying, there was this valuation list which had come out last week. There was a Virat Kohli at 179 odd million, and there was MS, and there was Sachin. But apart from these three, who were the other sports people on that list? There was a PV Sindhu and there was a Neeraj Chopra. Now there will be a Nikhat Zareen. So what is that telling you? Three cricketers with three non-cricketers. That is a telling story as well. Non-cricket stars making it to the most valued list, and this will only grow with Olympic medals and World Championship medals. That is your step to becoming a multi-sporting country, something that I've been crying and jumping and shouting for the longest time. If that happens, India benefits.
Absolutely. And Devashish, coming to you, talking about the other sports, Satvik and Chirag, another gold in Swiss Open, back-to-back set wins, and again a deuce. We saw in the semi-finals a deuce, again a deuce yesterday, went out, and they kept their calm and ultimately won. Chirag opened his shirt. How good has they been in this tournament, and why do you see them going forward into Paris?
Yeah, that's a huge statement after not doing well in All England. Means so as to say, not doing justice, because we were all hoping that they would do well in All England, and after the disappointment of All England, to win this Swiss Open, it's a big statement, and it's a step in the right direction, I would say, and obviously they are our best bets as far as medal is concerned in Paris Olympics.
Absolutely. Abjo, your thoughts on that, on these two? Such a
There
lovely
is
player.
there is something about them. There is something about them because their confidence is something else that sets them apart. I mean, there's a certain amount of swag in the way they go about their job, and
Yeah,
you can see that confidence. It's so easily this easily discernible. I remember in Delhi during the India Open where they pulled out of the second round when Satvik got injured. After they won their first match, they were talking to us, and a Chinese pair had lost in the first round. They were a good pair, formidable pair. So somebody asked them that isn't it good for you, good for the two of you that they have the favorites have lost? They said no. Actually, I wanted them to be there. This was unbelievable. I mean, Satvik, and he was saying, no, we wanted him to be there. We have a better record. We have a better head-to-head record against them. So we are a little disappointed they have lost. How many times you hear people say things like that? So apart from that, if they keep their fitness levels up, they are right up there. I mean, there is no doubt about it. They have established themselves. I mean, they are world championship medalists. They have won tournaments. They are people take them seriously, and uh, they also take them very very seriously. And when you look at them, when you hear to them, you can easily make out that there is something that sets them apart. What is that? I mean, they believe they belong there, and they believe they can they can beat the best, and they can be the best. So that is something which is great. I mean, in any sport, you have to believe that you belong there. I mean, otherwise, you cannot be mentally the underdog, and they don't think they are the underdogs. They think they're the top dogs. So
absolutely.
that's what I mean. I'm looking ahead, looking forward to more success. I mean, the way they came back from the All England setback, disappointment, they came back in the best possible manner. So I have great expectations of them.
Okay. Buriala, coming to you, Satvik Chirag, talk about that their mental strength, because the last day also to 28-6, and then in the final again a deuce match they kept their nerves. How good were they in the second set
So
this time?
same lines as Atreyu said. I had asked them, I mean, and again, you know that these two are friends of mine and very
Yeah.
good friends of mine. I've been following them and sort of interacting with them for 7-8 years now, more than that. I mean, from the time they were coming up, 6-7 years. So I asked them, you've not beaten the Minions, you've not beaten Chia and so. And they were like, so what? We'll beat them this year. And it was a very matter of fact statement. And in one swat, they had sort of finished that question. That, so what? We have beaten 10 other teams who they lose to. So that is the kind of swagger these two fellows have. In terms of, the other part of your question, they're a top team. Yesterday I was speaking to them and I said, and it was a simple question. I asked, so, the two net cords, did it impact you? He said,
Yeah.
no, because my thought was the next net cord will be in our favor. I'm like, what? He said, yeah. See, the net cord will even out. I know that two will go against us, two will come in favor of us. You can't get flustered by net cords. And you all of a sudden know that these two fellows are talking a very different language. That at match point, the net cord went against them and he's telling you, how does it matter? The next net cord will come in my favor. And then going on to win. Champions. And give credit to Matthias Bo. Give
Yeah.
credit to Matthias Bo, because from behind, give credit to Gopi, who nurtured these two fellows coming up the ranks. Give credit to the back end, Sumansh and the physios and that team. Because playing back-to-back matches, the deciders every single day, look at the kind of physical fitness you need. Your support team is as important as the players. Unfortunately, we don't celebrate them that much. Give credit where due. These two fellows, think about it. Tomorrow Madrid starts. They play tomorrow. The Madrid Open starts tomorrow. So that is the kind of grueling routine that badminton now has. Look at this guy. I mean, he will throw the bandana. He will throw the shirt. And he's a friend. And that's why they got the MasterCard sponsorship. They have multiple brands backing them. They do this Natu. Yesterday they did not, but phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And talking about swag, we saw a swaggy picture of Chirag taking his shirt off. Absolutely fantastic. And these athletes, they are our hopes going forward in the Paris Olympics, Asian Games. And we have lots to expect from them, and they will, I know, deliver. But we don't have much time left. Just two more questions, gentlemen. Yesterday, the BCCI contracts came out. Boryada, you are happy with the contracts? Anything you are so A plus category got Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Bumrah, Jadeja. A Hardik Pandya, Ashwin, Shami, Akshar Pant. Bumrah getting an A plus again when he won't be playing. Your thoughts on these contracts?
My question is, why not Mohammad Shami? Why not Mohammad Shami in the top flight? Mohammad Shami, in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, has played the T20 World Cup, is playing ODI cricket, will be your strike bowler going forward, is your strike bowler in Test match cricket, will be the strike bowler in the WTC final. So if you have Bumrah in that list, why not Mohammad Shami? It's something that I thought Mohammad Shami deserves. I would want Devashish and Atreyu to perhaps comment on that.
Devashish?
Yeah, obviously. But if you look at the point, Jasprit Bumrah was written in that A plus category, is that he's a sure. Had he not been injured, he would have definitely figured out in all the formats across formats. Yes, unfortunately, Shami misses out, but then there have been a lot of good positive things in this edition of contract, because you have seen someone like Ishan Kishan, Deepak Huda, and Arshdeep Singh getting their first contracts. Obviously, there are signals that it's the end of the road, perhaps I would say, as far as Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is concerned, or Ishant Sharma or Ajinkya Rahane, they are not getting contracts. Obviously, the contracts also suggest that Sanju Samson and Shikhar Dhawan still in the fray for the World Cup because they are in Grade C. So there have been a lot of good things. Yes, one might argue is that why Shami is not in A plus, given he is also a certainty across formats and he has done well. So definitely, and also someone like an Ashwin, I would for one would love to see, would have loved to see Ashwin getting a grade A, grade A, because he has been a regular in across all formats.
I think Devashish is very right about Ashwin. I think Devashish is absolutely right about Ashwin. My little disagreement with him is Bumrah hasn't even played from September. So clearly from 1 September to next September, 12 months, he's not going to play for India. If you have him in grade A+, you can, because he's your, maybe the logic is he will play all. Then for that whole 12 months, if somebody is serving you in his place and top flight like Mohammad Shami, why not reward that man and say that, you were the one who stepped up. You played the T20 World Cup. You will play the WTC. You will play the ODI World Cup. So the major tournaments Bumrah has missed out, you have. So that I think Mohammad Shami deserved.
Apchoda, your thoughts on this?
Well, I am also, like everybody else, I'm also a little surprised to see Bumrah in the top bracket in the A plus list, and that's because, as Boria said, I mean, from 1 September to another September, you are possibly not going to be around. So it's it's a clear case of rewarding his past performances and not looking ahead to how he is going to contribute in future. This contract possibly doesn't take that into account, and it's a retrospective contract awarded to him. And also, Devashish made a fantastic point that Ashwin, although he doesn't play all the formats, but he's such an invaluable player. Wherever he does. So Ashwin deserves to be treated more seriously, and possibly the most surprise omission, more than Shami, I would say. Shami also has yes, I completely agree with Boria that you have made Shami the beast of burden in the absence of Bumrah. You have made him the #1 strike bowler in all the formats. So he should have been there, but should have been Ashwin, because he wins you Test matches, and that is the biggest thing until now, BCCI players, everybody rates Test cricket as the most prestigious format, and that is here is your most valuable performer in Test matches. So possibly Ashwin should have been there, and I'm also a little interested to see that Shikhar Dhawan being written in the contracts, because he hadn't played for India when India has not picked two teams. He hasn't played for India of late, and which means he's still possibly there in somewhere.
See, Devashish made this point. Devashish and Shubhan had done a story about Ajinkya Rahane in the WTC final. Devashish, does this mean that they are not going to consider Ajinkya Rahane for that WTC final? Is that the indication you're getting?
Very much, very much. Definitely, it more or less now we can definitely say that Rahane will not be in the reckoning to be in that World WTC final squad, because you have the likes of KL Rahul. So I don't think Ajinkya Rahane will be in that squad.
Okay. So it was lovely talking to you, gentlemen. But with your due permission, I would love to add one more question from my side in football. So the FIFA has introduced a new rule that goalkeepers won't be allowed to do all those mental tricks, these tantrums they do to distract the shooter, touch the bar, pull the nets, do some Emiliano Martinez stuff. They won't be able to do that, and it has been a rule. So, why do you think FIFA is imposing such rules to kill the essence of the game? Boya?
There are two ways to look at it. You're taking characters away from the game, but at the same time, you're trying to make the game a level playing field. I mean, somebody does his antics and distracts a player and wins, while another goalkeeper who's more conventional will not do that and rule. You're trying to create a level playing field, but at the same time, look, you want characters in sport. I mean, Dibu Martinez is a character. So, I'll leave it at that.
After your thoughts on that? Do you think it should be done, or just leave the player as they do, until and unless they do some unfair thing? But these are the part of the game. These adds to the essence of the game. What do you think?
And more importantly, how do you define that what is antics and what is not? I mean, what is the definition? So, yes, I agree with Boria that take that character away from the game and see that. I mean, as long as you're not abusing the opponent player, as long as you're not physically causing harm, I think it's okay. I mean, let him look at the other side. Let him put his left hand out and stick his left hand out or right hand out or whatever. So as long as he's saving goals, it's fine. I mean, or is there not flouting normal codes of behavior? I think it's fine. But sometimes rules are a little wacky. I mean, rules are a little unusual at times, and this is one of them.
Absolutely. Even Neymar got booked in the French league for showing his skills were not required. I mean, why? The Brazilians are accustomed to show all the skills, and for showboating he has been booked. Devashish, your thoughts, and we'll end the show here on this rule.
Yeah, I would slightly differ. What happens when a player walks on to take a shot? He stops in the middle, and then takes the shot. That is also an undue advantage. That for me is also an undue advantage. So why do you take the characters out of the game? Right? We said Emiliano Martinez is a character. So obviously, goalkeeper will try and unsettle the player who is taking the shot. That's what it is. A tiebreaker might win you the matches. A penalty save might win you the matches. So why did take out that? So even. I reckon that FIFA, I don't know, FIFA is the world governing body, so who am I to speak on this? But then definitely, you need characters like Emiliano Martinez, obviously. So let's leave it there.
Just my closing point. Each one of you have followed sport. Usain Bolt has won Olympic golds multiple times. What is the one thing that the moment I say Usain Bolt, what do you think? You will think that lightning pose.
Yeah.
Now you will say Usain Bolt can't do that. Why?
Absolutely. So I personally don't support this rule, but yes, it kills the essence of the game. Even when Neymar was booked for showboating during the game, that's part of the game. That's his way of playing. You can't do this and say you play like this. So that's all. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining. It has been wonderful talking to you in the last 45 minutes. And we'll be back again tomorrow with the teeing off show. And today we have lots in store. WPL, a boxing montage, WPL reviews, and lots of articles going up on our website. So do follow our social media handles and website for all the updates from all over the world, sporting world. Thank you, Atro. Thank you, Devashish. Thank you, Boria, for joining. And we'll be back tomorrow with the teeing off show. Thank you.